Hi everybody, Katerina from Sustainably Rooted, and it is August. Have you asked yourself, can I grow this? I bet you have. It is for me in my zone. It is winding down from summer, moving into fall. It's still the middle of summer, and you're asking, a lot of people in my world are asking themselves, can I still plant these summer crops? Or when can I plant these fall crops and things like that? So today we're gonna dive into that. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would encourage you to do that. It allows us to get the word out there and share the message of how to create a more sustainable world in a way that's sustainable for you and your family. So I have a lot of videos on how to create like a zero waste home and what that looks like for my family and how to bring that into your garden and then how that integrates together. How do I bring my garden back into my home with the meals that I have potentially, and eventually hopefully do a zero waste classroom as well because I am a full-time teacher. So let's get started. We're gonna go over a couple different things, but I have these seeds, but can I plant them? That's the key. I'm just gonna say flat out, sure, why not? End of video. Just kidding. Please continue watching. There is more to it for sure, but doesn't have to be complicated. And yeah, you can go on Facebook or ask your local gardening person and say, hey, can I still plant this? And although they might have an answer for you, there are certain things you have to know for yourself and to be successful. The last thing that I want you to do is plant something and have it completely fail, and then you feel frustrated because you can't have this garden in your mind, or you don't think you have a green thumb. But in reality, it's okay. Like you will fail, and that's the love of gardening. But also there's certain things you can tweak and you will have success. So we're gonna get started. The first thing that you need to know is your first frost date. I'll say it again, first frost date. So for all my beginner gardeners out there, the first frost date is the first day that you are going to potentially get a frost, okay? It is not a definitive line. You might have a frost earlier, but you have a high chance of getting frost after this date. And every place is different. How they determine these frost dates are really by location, and so it's not based off of your specific home. So just be aware of that. So once you know your frost date, you can use it. So where can you find it? You can always go on Farmer's Almanac and get it. That's a great location. I'll put that in the description below so that you have that link. And then that's going to tell you when to grow. But it is a range, so kind of be careful. So if I look in one location in my area, it will say that my frost date is the first week of November. I think it's like November 2nd or something like that. And then if I look in a different location, it says that my frost date is October 22nd. And I'm kind of in the middle of these two locations physically, so you kind of have to be aware of that. It's important maybe that you keep notes in like a garden notebook. I have mine today, so that you can kind of know from time after time, and you'll get better about it year after year. But this is a good place to start, is knowing that date and kind of maybe averaging between the two dates. So for me, I always pick Halloween as my first frost date because I can physically feel that shift in temperature, and it is between those two dates. So my first frost date is Halloween, October 31st, let's say. And the next thing you're gonna do, step 2, is how many days is it from today, the day that you want to plant, to that first frost date. If there's other ways to do it, but this is, can I still plant it? Will I still get something out of it? That's the key. So there is about 80 days from now until my first frost date. 80 days. It is it's not the middle of August quite yet. It's August 10th. And so there you go. Okay. 80 days. That's about 11 to 12 weeks, just depending. I'm gonna say 11 weeks, and I'm gonna explain why here in a second, but we'll say 11 weeks. So the next thing you want to do is grab your seed packets and look at those packets. If you don't have a seed packet, then you could potentially Google it and go through it. So before we get started on that, I am not sponsored by these seed companies. I'm not trying to like advertise them. They are just the seeds that I got. A lot of these I got from free for my like other people. So I'm not sponsored, but I will do an ad because why not? And my ad today is the wonderful thing of zucchini that is blowing up probably in your yard right now. And you probably have too many zucchinis to know what to do with. And I believe that it was like some weird like give a zucchini day the other day. So there you go. I have 6 of these in my fridge right now. And if you haven't seen my video on growing zucchini or planting what to do with the all out zucchini, check it out. I'll maybe link it up here. I don't know how that works yet. I'm just gonna be honest. So there you go. Seeds. I have 4 groups of seeds here. No, I don't. I have 4 individual packets. I have a summer crop cucumber. I have a summer crop, your favorite zucchini, another summer crop, corn. All these are in my garden right now, by the way. And a spring, it says spring crop, but this is also could be a fall crop, is peas. In this case, they are purple peas, which my kids love because they're purple. So let's look, what do we look for in these wonderful seed packets? Well, I've got 2 different brands. They're both good for the Pacific Northwest. So I'm in zone 8B, and this is how I do my thing. In the comments, please feel free to, how do you do your thing? Like, is there something different that you do? This is what I do. You're gonna do it differently. I would love to hear what you do in the comments. Or if you do try it this way, how did it go? Love to hear. So let's start with corn, because this corn is absolutely gorgeous right now. It has got these purple stalks and it's got all this, it's literally any of this could be in that variety. So it's really cool. There are 2 different ways that you can look for it. A lot of times there's 2 dates on here, if you will. There's a germination, days till germination, and there's days till maturity. Okay, germination and maturity. For my beginner gardeners out there, days of germination, excuse me, it says right here 7 to 14 days, so 1 week to 2 weeks. That's just how long it's going to take before it sprouts. Okay, once it does sprout, the maturity date is, in this case, 89 days. And I know it's really hard to see because it's dirty and I highlighted it. I can see it really well, but it's really hard to see. There you go. So 89 days. I want to use the 89 days to do my maturity, and keep in mind the germination dates. Okay, I'm going to go through each packet and then we'll use those. So squash, actually let's start with peas, sorry. So peas, this is the same packet. It says that it could be anywhere from 8 to 25 days to germinate, and then it's going to take 70 days to mature. Okay, sorry if it's not focusing. Cucumbers, for me, this is on the back, so it says it takes about that didn't work. Approximately, however many days that says, 56? Yep, 56 days to mature. And then I didn't highlight it, but it doesn't say maturity date quite yet. Oh, it says 1 week to mature. So there you go. This one says 2 to 3 weeks to mature. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. 1 to 2 weeks to maturity. And then right here, or not maturity, to germinate. And then right here, it talks about the maturity, approximately 50 days to mature to get your first harvest. So that's zucchini. Now that you have that information and that you find it, what do I do with it? So if you remember, there is 80 days left. So right now I can stop and say, well, remember that candy corn? It said 89 days, and I have 80 days to my first frost. I probably can't plant corn right now. I'm not gonna get anything. That's really a waste of my time. Sure, you can plant it, sure you can try it, but that's probably a waste of time, okay? Other ones would be like your cucumbers was 56 days. So potentially, yeah, I had 80 days. That one was 56. Yeah, I could do it. And zucchini was only 50 days. I definitely could do this. So in my zucchini video, I talk about, disease and that it's not the end of the world. You could always plant another seed. So There you go. Now, getting into fall, this says 78 days to maturity. So going back to, can I start planting things for fall? The answer is yes, absolutely. So remember it talked about having 8 to 25 days to germinate. This might take a little while to germinate, so I'm gonna start planting it right now, 80 days out, and I will be able to have it grow, mature, and harvest hopefully by fall. I'm also looking for, does it talk about it being frost tolerant? Okay, and if it does, which I don't know if this one specifically says it, but I know that most are. I do have seed packets that do say frost tolerant, so that's an option as well. So there you go. Right now, with 80 days left till my first frost, I cannot plant corn. I can plant cucumbers and zucchini. Zucchini I can plant very safely and potentially get one. Cucumbers, I might not get too many, but I can still try and plant it. That's a good tester seed. And this is a great time to plant fall vegetables. And you can check out my video again on, maybe I'll put it up there if I can figure out how to do that. Sorry, I'm new to this. What I'm planting for fall. So check it out. The very last step, as you're checking this out and trying it out, is write it down. So in my garden planner, if you will, that was gifted to me, I do write down kind of when I plant what, so that next year I have an idea, and then I write down if it worked or not. Basically, I'll make a note of, whoa, too late, or whoa, too early, I didn't get much, and that helps me fine tune it. And just like you do with anything else, the more you practice, the better you're gonna get at it. And it is really hard because you are a full year away, but it allows you time and process and love in the garden, so you can get rooted and in a better place mentally. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. Again, comment on things. What do you do differently? What are you planting right now? What are you waiting to plant? Things like that. If you have planted corn with less than 80 days, how did that go? I will note, and I forgot to note this, I'm sorry, but it matters significantly from variety. And there are certain things that are a little bit more complicated than others, like garlic and onions and cabbage can get a little bit weird. So just be aware of that, that the variety matters significantly. Hopefully you know that tomatoes are not something that you can start right now in the garden as well. So yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day and continue to be sustainably rooted. Bye.